Welcome to a guide for an incredible spot on the map 9 that I used a lot of on my way to 100%er. This can be done alone or with multiple people. It is very overpowered, incredible for easy headshots and camos, for challenge completion, and for quick XP and weapon XP, because you'll be killing zombies as soon as they spawn in, and in casual you can survive as long as you want with approximately zero effort. I'm showing off the spot in the background right now, so you know I'm not yanking your chain. One note real quick, because there were tons of comments about it in both the other zombies videos, my graphics look the way they do, this colorful, almost Borderlands-y, cel-shaded look, because of the cartoon mode setting. I didn't think that was such a well-kept secret, but there you go. So what do you need to know to set this up and keep it going? There's really not much to it on a surface level, but there is a lot to know to make sure everything goes smoothly. I don't know how well known this is. I'm not that in tune with the zombies community, I must admit, so you'll have to accept my apologies if this isn't anything new, but I couldn't find anything about it, and I'm sure there are other people like me who could benefit from this. If you're concerned about the legitimacy of this, well, I'm sharing it because I would consider it at least a semi-legitimate spot. My friend Monkey and I stumbled across it while playing one day, and it is in the bounds of the map. You aren't doing anything crazy where you jump into a glitch area and become completely safe from getting hit. No, this is a completely normal area of the map. You are vulnerable, you can't go AFK without pausing, but it does border on the exploit side of things because it just so happens, so long as you don't open the flooded crypt doors on your right, standing anywhere in this room will completely prevent gladiators from spawning. No heavy zombies, same for no tigers, and if you play your cards right, you'll never get any catalysts or Blightfathers either, because they just won't have the opportunity to transform. In fact, there's some sort of issue where all zombies have trouble pathing to you from the hallway on your left, so you never even have to look that way mid-round, and that's what makes it so relaxing and so perfect for headshots. You can just aim in one place, right at headshot level where they jump out of the window. You don't even have to move, you can play one-handed and do whatever you want with the other hand, since you never need to dodge a heavy zombie attack and then waste a bunch of your ammo taking them down. You never need to adjust your aim down for a tiger. I can't think of a setup that could be better than this for headshots. Welcome to the Cursed Room Headshot Meat Grinder. Let's rewind and touch on all the details. The setup for this is very simple. Beginning with your class, by far the most important thing here is the Wraithfire. Getting the homunculus from the box can work too, but Wraithfire is much better and doesn't require any RNG to get, so use it if you have it. I'd even recommend permanently unlocking it if you're planning on doing this a lot, and I'd say it's the best in slot anyway. This is a campy strategy, so I'd highly recommend Stone Cold Stronghold to boost your damage, and the armor can come in handy too. You'll also want Mule Kick. The more weapons, the more ammo, the better. Ideally, you don't want to have to leave the spot to run for ammo. Then I typically run Dead Shot, mainly for the hipfire accuracy and the elimination of idle sway, and I have it as the modifier for the headshot streak damage bonus. I have a feeling that isn't really needed in casual, but I don't find I need any of the other perk modifiers either. Then, as the final perk, I usually run Time Slip, just a quality of life thing for pack-a-punching and for rapidly rolling the box to get what I'm looking for during a fire sale that I've probably extended with the Temporal Gift Elixir. Stamina Up is nice quality of life too, but you obviously don't do a lot of running as soon as the camping begins. And Bandolier would also be good here. Like I said, the more ammo the better, but unless I'm running a triple SMG setup, I don't find I typically have ammo trouble unless I'm trying to survive for a very, very long time, like round 100 plus. But if you are doing that, then the 400 IQ play would be to run Secret Sauce, so you can buy it and get Time Slip for the early game, use it to find and pack all your guns. Then when you have them all at round 30-ish, you can go back and re-roll until you get Bandolier for the long haul. That perk's up to you though, and your elixirs are all up to you as well. I like dropping my own fire sale and then extending it with that temporal gift, but you don't need that. You could be working on wall weapons, or you could build your crowd affinity and wait for fire sales to be thrown down. Any elixirs that relate to replenishing your ammo can be especially helpful late game, but use whatever you want there. When it comes to setting things up in-game, the only thing you have to do is not buy the one set of doors that is in the underground on the Danu side. Just buy your way around through the raw side. If you want to buy the GKS in that flooded crypt room, you can get to it through the middle. Keep those doors closed, and you're good. Then you can go sit in this truly cursed room. When you arrive here, you'll have to deal with whatever crowd you had following you. That can include gladiators, tigers, whatever had already spawned by you being outside, and they can take a while to reach you, but no more of them will spawn for as long as you hang out in this room. Zombies will start pouring out of that window, and you're good to go. The one key thing you have to know to keep things running smoothly is that at the beginning of every round, after you kill the first few zombies that come out of the window, throw your Wraithfire down in the hallway to your left. You can aim around the corner, or a bit further down the hallway is fine. You can also throw a homunculus, but they take longer to come back and a lot longer to throw, and they pull the zombies that are at the window away from you, kind of annoying. So Wraithfire is much better if you can keep that instead. The reason you do that is because, without fail, at the beginning, and only at the beginning of each round, 5 to 7 zombies will wander down that hallway and get to you, and when they turn the corner, that's when they will very likely transform into catalysts, and if the fire isn't there, maybe even a Blightfather, which can be annoying to deal with in this tiny room. Now, if you forget your Wraithfire, and that does happen, not the end of the world because it's casual. If you have the Hellion or a shotgun or something that can shred Blightfathers like nothing, you're golden. Otherwise, just pop your staff and either use the quick melee trick to get rid of him, which is spamming whatever you pressed to activate it, or if your staff is already level 3, then put down that dome. Should be fine. You can even let yourself die and be revived by your own bubble. Try not to leave the room though as soon as you step out into the hallway, even as far as the KN on the wall. A mass of zombies from the hallway will head your way, and you may hear the metallic sounds of some gladiators spawning in, and they will eventually make their way to you later in the round. So that is the one big thing you have to keep in mind to not get messed up here. Just get into a rhythm of throwing that Wraithfire at the beginning of the round after killing the first few that come through the window, and you should never encounter any trouble. It's also worth noting that at the very end of every round, 1 or almost always 2 zombies will run in from that left hallway. Rarely you can get none, but those couple zombies that run in aren't going to transform because they must be a special type of end-round zombies. They're just a helpful signal on top of the spawns slowing down that, hey, the round is over, so if you want to keep those couple alive, now would be a great time to go run for ammo or whatever you want to buy. Now, when it comes to a boss round, you might be wondering how that works if heavy zombies don't spawn when you're in this spot. Well, the boss round does override that power. Gladiators will spawn during a boss round, and they will eventually path their way to this room, but it can take several minutes. So when you hear that a boss round has started, just leave the room, walk into the hallway to kill them all a little faster, grab your max ammo, and head right back into the room. If you go too far, you might trigger some gladiator spawns in the next round on the way back that will make their way to you later, so it's best to be in the room when the next round begins. I assume you'd want to be grinding up a variety of weapons here, but if you wanted a weapon setup recommendation, then I'd recommend the Titan because it has a ton of ammo and it's the only LMG you can buy off the wall, top floor of the Zeus Temple. Then the Hades is a good choice as well. You can get it out of the box or from the podium challenges. You could put a suppressor on there to hope for more max ammos. And then the KN is another good choice, also has a good amount of ammo, and you can buy more off the wall very nearby. If you run out of the room and back quick enough, you won't always spawn in gladiators, but dealing with whatever spawns really isn't a big deal as long as it doesn't take you by surprise. Good to have some emergency ammo nearby, but you should always be able to buy ammo in between rounds or rely on the max ammos, which should be enough to carry you very high in the rounds on their own. There is no one place in the room that you have to sit. Depending on your gun, you could sit in the back corner with your Outlaw, or be right up super close with your Spitfire. I like aiming at the jutting out brick. I find that's a very good headshot level when they bounce out of that window. You'll get a feel for it. I wouldn't recommend spraying into the window though, because getting kills on them before they hop out means no chance at a power-up, and you do want max ammos, maybe the occasional carpenter to fix your shield. Good to let them leave the window. One final thing to be aware of, this is a rare situation, but I think important to know. If you see zombies are pouring out of the window with the water catalyst effect already on them, meaning a water zombie has buffed them, that should not be ignored, because you can get overwhelmed depending on your weapon, and you'll be wasting a lot more ammo to kill them. What you have to do to deal with it is dip out into the hallway and clear out the crowd of zombies there, or at least if you see the water guy, which you should, maybe more than one, make sure you take them out. This is kind of pulling back the curtain on how this weird glitchy spot is working. There's actually a big pool of zombies hanging out in that hallway at all times, just standing there. If you ever leave the spot mid-round, you'll see them all and they'll see you. But when you're in the room, they can't figure out how to path to you, which is weird because clearly zombies can find you here at the beginning and ends of rounds, but never any other time. And they don't just all magically appear when you look, either. This isn't Schrodinger's zombie hallway. You can actually tell they're always there. Like if you're using brain rot, the brain rot zombie will usually just book it out into the hallway and get a couple kills on the zombies that are just standing there. And also now with the St. Patrick's Day thing, the green orb will sometimes fly out into a guy in the hallway. That's okay though, the zombies standing out there won't transform into anything because you don't have a line of sight on them. So eventually they just time out and die, and they respawn in the window to be killed. But if they were touched by a water zombie in the hallway, they'll keep that effect, and that's the problem. The way the water zombie got there in the first place could be because you didn't throw your Wraithfire at the beginning of the round in time or in the right place, and you didn't notice him transform and escape back into the hallway, or if you ran back into the room mid-round after an ammo run, maybe you left a water guy alive out there. So it is rare, but if that happens, go out there, clear it out, maybe throw a Wraithfire or Homunculus, and when that's done, you can return to the room and be ready to deal with any gladiators that you may have spawned doing that. That is everything I have to say about this very overpowered spot. I don't think I'm overselling it. The heavies, catalysts, and mini-bosses are the most annoying distractions when it comes to getting headshots. They can waste a ton of your ammo and make you aim away from headshot level, so the fact that this spot removes that entirely and funnels all of the zombies to you in a straight line is absolutely perfect. The only weakness of this spot I can think of is if you're trying to grind out the Paladin, or to a lesser extent the Koshka, when you get to higher rounds and they're really pouring out of that window, you may struggle to survive here if you're playing solo, but if you have a friend who is also shooting, then they'll help hold them off in between your slow fire rate and reload. That is ideal. Otherwise, if you're solo, you may need to get those couple snipers done in the early rounds only, or training somewhere else on the map. But for just about every other gun, you shouldn't have any trouble here on your own. The longest I've ever bothered to go was up to round 110, just pausing the game throughout the day doing other things. The way I died was really strange. I was getting some flashlight operator mod kills here, paused with full health and some armor built up. When I unpaused, I shot the head off this zombie, and then I just died. I didn't take any damage, there were no crawlers or water-buffed zombies, only one headless guy, who I guess glitched into me or something, but that's okay, I was looking for a reason to quit at that point. I don't think there's anything impressive about setting a high record in casual, but that was a productive game, 15,000 kills, very useful spot. I've heard of a couple other places people camp, like the Blood of the Dead gondola, the classified elevator, similar camping in room strategies, but I think this takes the cake for just how easy it is. So I hope this helps some people with their weapon grinding. Even with something like this, the zombies dark matter grind is absolutely crazy. As you may know, I only got halfway there personally on my way to 100%er. Best of luck if you decide you want to go all the way. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.